What's going on, my friends? This is Dave Sharpe, CEO of Legendary Marketer, and your friendly pilot this morning, flying through the friendly skies of the digital marketing world. All right, get your seatbelts on. We have a gentleman here who, well, Bill, I'm going to go ahead and bring you in. Welcome to the show, buddy. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Good morning, everybody.
Hey, you thought you were just coming on. We were just invited. Tell us what happened with Roxy. She emailed you and invited you to the show, and you thought what?
Well, I thought it was just a kind of schedule to make sure I was watching them in the morning, and had to go back and reread the email, and no, it was to actually be on the show. So, okay.
Oh man, so you thought that she was emailing you just to stay on you, just to make sure you were attending and doing what you were supposed to be doing.
Exactly. So it kind of
You're
struck
like,
me.
wow, is this a business or a job? Who is this lady? Is she like, was she checking up on me? I mean, I thought
Yeah.
Dave said this was a business and I had to be responsible for showing up.
Wait, the whole point was me to be able to do my own thing on my own time. And
Now
I'm
I got
getting
this
emails
lady
from
asking
you.
if I'm coming to these shows and crap, you know? I mean, no, I'm laying in bed. I'm taking a crap. You know, leave me alone.
Exactly. So I had to reread the email, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So, I put on a fresh shirt, cut my hair, the whole 9 yards. So we're ready to rock and roll.
My man put on a fresh shirt. Now, people, let me ask you a question. Are you that ready? Are you as ready to rock as this man? Holy crap, Bill. So now that you're here, you might as well tell us your story, man. So tell us like who you are and what led you to Legendary. What were you looking for?
Okay. Well, here's my backstory. So, you can probably tell I'm a little bit older, so I'm a little bit far in the game. So I'm part of that generation of, get off my lawn and you're not going to see me on camera ever.
Right.
So I spent 23 years in the military
Thank you for your
after
service, sir.
college. Thank you. Retired colonel, engineer. And after that, I went into kind of the corporate world, working in mining and manufacturing, kind of taking some of the things that I did in the Army and applying it in the corporate C-suite.
Uh-huh.
So I would say probably, well, when we went into lockdown in 2022 or 2020 in March, I was strictly working from home, in my position, and started kind of doing maybe there's a little bit more I could do on the side for me, kind of taking a look at what was going on in the economy, and kind of working with some of the folks that I did in my company, and seeing what was out there as well, and some of the things that I could do on the side. And then two things, and I kind of came across affiliate marketing, in that time frame, and I kind of got into that whole analysis paralysis where I just kept rereading and reading and studying. That's the whole engineer in me. And in November of last year, my position was deleted. So I went from employed for the last, almost 30 years to unemployed. And what do I do now?
Wow.
So I had been studying the affiliate marketing space, and I came across Tyler Wise, in my readings and whatnot, and he's the one that I actually went through to join Legendary Marketing. So I purchased the program and jumped in probably in probably mid-December, I think it was, of last year. And kind of went through the 15-day challenge and jumped into the blueprints as well. The other thing I was doing at the same time as I was kind of going through some kind of job search and what do I want to do next, I kind of really got to that point after studying all that is I really don't want to go back to the 9-to-5.
How many people do you think have had that realization over the last 6 to 12 months?
I would say quite a few. At least most of the family and friends that I talk to about it, they don't want to go back to the office. Even talking to some of my former coworkers who are still there, they're like, I never want to go back to the office. And I'm like, I don't blame you. because I personally work better from home, I've found, or working on my own. And so I just, I continued to work on that. But at the same time, talking with some kind of job counselors and working on the resume and getting LinkedIn all up to date, and the whole standard package, I guess you could call it.
Right. The
The first
job
time I had
search.
to focus on branding, you know, all that kind of stuff, and in this kind of set, I just decided that, hey, I wanted to really start my own gig. So I started my own business consulting. And at the same time, I was jumping into the legendary marketing as well.
Hmm.
So my path is probably a little bit different than many, here in the community, because basically focusing on starting two businesses at the
Hmm.
same time.
Yeah.
Um, the business consulting has taken off. I mean, I didn't even have my website set up for it when I signed on with my first client, and
Hmm.
I've been doing that solid since the beginning of March.
Wow.
At the same time, I'm also getting the marketing off the launch pad as well, and really getting in and getting stuff onto TikTok and Instagram and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, and that, of course, that's the whole mindset of, a guy in my position of putting stuff on TikTok.
Hmm.
I'm watching everybody else and my kids on it. And here I am, trying to get myself on social media like that, when I'm always like, I really don't want to be on social media.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's been a quick road. So trying to do two things simultaneously has been challenging, but it's been a great challenge because it's mine,
Hmm.
and I've
Wow.
really enjoyed it.
That's really something. That's really
Mhm.
something, Bill. I love that last part. It's a challenge, but it's your challenge. And isn't that special? Isn't that something? And why
Mhm.
do we why do you feel why isn't everybody excited about their own challenge, do you think, Bill? I mean, I can see that you're getting in and you're going after it, and you're both using these skills to build a affiliate business. You're also doing consulting. That's fantastic. You're going after this. Um, and those challenges that are popping up, no doubt. It sounds like you don't love them, but you're grateful for them because they're your own challenges to help you
Mhm.
build your own business. What do you say to people, or what do you think we could say to people to get them to see that even work, the challenges that you're going to go through are blessings in disguise. They're teaching you, giving you valuable experience, and they're making you worth more than you are right now,
Mhm.
because you're going to know how to navigate them, and that's a valuable experience in life that you can package and sell, just like we teach here. You can
Yep.
package and sell that valuable experience, right? You have to
Mhm.
get some of it, though. I mean, you said something, I said something. I think we're making our point here that these challenges are valuable, and they would you just say more about the part where you said, I'm grateful for the challenges because they're
Mhm.
mine? I just think our audience could benefit from that.
Sure. So a couple things. First of all, I think, the reason why many people don't do it. I mean, when we kind of talk about, there's the 1% and there's the 99%. 1% are going to make that decision to change their lives. The 99% don't. And I think the 99% is more about fear. It's fear of taking that leap.
Mm.
Um, you know, Honestly, when I retired from the military and was looking at, what am I going to do next? Trying to translate. A lot of my counterparts will turn around and go right back into some sort of defense contracting job or
Right.
something that, with the
Right.
military, instead of breaking out of it and doing something else, because there's that comfort, right?
Right.
It's what I know. And how do I translate that out into the civilian world? I took the leap.
Mm.
And I think it's, there's that fear portion of, not wanting to kind of, the fear of failure, right?
Mm.
So, um, and I see that a lot when I talk with my counterparts. They're still in, or working. I live near a military base still,
Oh, you
and
do?
and they go to work every day kind of doing the same things they did when they were in uniform, and I hear the same complaints and the anger, and I'm like, why don't you change it up?
Right.
Well, I'm
Right.
afraid, and we were trained to go fight wars and whatnot, and they're
Right.
kind of afraid to jump out in that world. Well, I took that leap. I made that decision to get away from government work and go into the civilian sector.
Mm.
So I think there's that fear portion that people don't want to do something on their own. And then the second thing is, in the military, we look at challenges as opportunities, or at least that's the way I was raised. It's not always a pain point. It's an opportunity.
Mm.
We're trained as leaders to take a look at those, and how do we seize the initiative and move forward. And I look at it as an opportunity. Yeah, it's a challenge, but how am I going to overcome that challenge? So
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why I like to own it. It's mine.
Mm.
So, and that's
Mm.
the reason why I decided I didn't want to go back to the 9 to 5. I was, come hell or high water, I was going to make that difference and make my own business and go my way. So,
Golly, man. I mean, that perspective of I'm gonna own this challenge. This is my challenge. Don't even come over here and try to take it away from me
and good
because
luck.
I want the experience. I want the self-confidence that I'm gonna have when I complete and dominate that finish line or that completion point. Um, and a lot of people don't. I would assume that's something that the teamwork, having each other's backs, along with that completion confidence and in confidence building, you experience a lot in the military. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I've experienced the same thing though, even though I wasn't in service, in entrepreneurship. Um,
Mm-hmm.
business is a lot like. Let me be careful here. I'm talking to a military man. Business seems a lot like war, except there's not the violence. There's
Mm-hmm.
still competition, would love to take the other one out, and there's all types of strategy and everything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or there's just ignorance on fire where you just run into wherever you're going and you just hope like hell whatever you're about to do works out.
Yep.
I don't know, Bill. They sound pretty similar to me.
They are, because what you just moved, we call movement
Minus
to
the violence.
contact. Yeah. If we don't know what the situation is, it's called a movement to contact. You come up against it and then you figure it out.
You
Yeah.
move until you contact something,
Right.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Which
So
is
the other
scary
part
as
is,
hell, man. I mean, you could contact a bullet, and in entrepreneurship, it seems like, in the fear that you just described was very real from military men and women. Um, But there's no bullets here, man. There's
it's
no
okay.
bombs. There's no
Right.
bul there's I've not seen blood yet, even though we all say blood, sweat, and tears. I've seen a lot of sweat, I've seen a lot of
Mhm.
tears, but I've yet to see a single drop of blood from anybody sitting behind their computer or on their cell phone. Um, so yeah, you're using the, "Hey, it's my challenge to overcome your fear." I would invite all of you to come up with a perspective that you can use that will help you overcome your fears. Because I agree with you, Bill. There's 99 point something percent of people who will live their entire lives in fear and always second guess everything and will never do anything unless they have somebody sitting beside them, some sort of a authority figure, who is going to tell them that it's okay, or and I tell you, that is one way to live life. That is one way to live life. There are a lot of people who live life within those those boundaries, right?
Yep.
But I was just reading a quote from I was just reading a quote yesterday from Steve Jobs, man, the
Mm.
late Steve Jobs. All right. And some of you may have seen this or, heard this, but it was a speech called "Here's the Crazy Ones." And he said, "Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs and the square holes." This is the gentleman who invented the iPhone. The ones who see things differently, they're not fond of rules. They have no respect for the status quo. You can praise them, disagree with them, quote them, disbelieve them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do, Bill, is ignore them, because they change things, they invent, they imagine, they heal, they explore, they create, they inspire, they push the human race forward. Maybe they have to be crazy. How else can you stare at an empty canvas and see a work of art, or sit in silence and hear a song that's never been written, or gaze at a red planet and see a laboratory on wheels? We make tools for these kinds of people. While some see them as the crazy ones, we see genius, because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. What comes up for you when you hear that, Bill?
I see it. I see what I was talking about earlier. It's the challenge of opportunity, or opportunities of challenge, right? We live a very structured life in the military, but when you're in a combat theater, there is no structure. Why? Because we have a saying: the enemy has a vote. So your best laid plans, will go to crap on first contact with the enemy. But you went in with a plan, and that's the important thing: is to think of how you're going to build your plan. I don't see that any differently than running my own business, whether it be marketing or consulting, right?
Yeah.
So I had a plan going in, I've built it, and as I've come up against different challenges, I see them as opportunities to excel. And how do I overcome that? So yes, you have to kind of take a look, and we also talk about that as how do we think outside of the box. Does that put us in a different or larger box, or are we actually outside of the box looking at the big picture?
Well, I say, and I think and believe that as a business owner, your income is only capped by your creativity, right? So the higher your creativity goes, the higher your income goes. Now, creativity consists of the things that you just said, the things that you just described, right? Like trying things, different things, being willing to have a plan, make a plan, but then adjust that plan, make another plan, make a pivot, which is exactly what we have to do every day in life, and is also what you just described. A military has to do under attack or in war, right? Do we think that even a football game, even a basketball game, when you're out there on the field, you got to adjust, right? Business is no different. And so creativity, the higher your creativity goes, the higher your income can go. And to be creative, it's really just about trying things. It's really just about taking risk. What are some of the things? I want to talk about your consulting client and what are the techniques that you've used, but I want to know also, what are some of the examples of things that you've tried that worked, that you were like, wow, like, holy crap? Is there anything like a video that you recorded that you just thought, oh, that'll never do anything, or you didn't edit it? Or have you seen a pattern of things work out despite you? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, like I said earlier, kind of like trying to get over that hump of putting stuff out on TikTok. If you go back to, I left everything on TikTok that I started out with. So I haven't deleted any videos. So if you go to like the very first portion of my profile, you're going to see just how rough they are. Here I am trying it,
Yeah.
so, I've looked at a lot of others in our community that have already input their, have been out there for a while. So I started looking at their stuff on how to kind of guide me into, okay, how do I get going with this thing? Right. You can look at how rough that is. So, we talk about, I just got to that point where, we talk about how ugly sells, right?
Yeah.
Well, these are ugly.
Thank you for bringing that up. You're right, man. Ugly does sell, and it has not. And you ain't talking about face, people. So Bill ain't talking about his mug, okay? Even though that's a mug only a mother can love. Same thing right over here. But we ain't talking about how you look as a person. We're talking about the page or the in this case, like the thumbnails or whatever, and even the production level. Nowadays, ugly and low production sells.
Yep. And I mean, I've had comments, so a lot of the feedback I get, is usually in the I'll get a message like, how is it in this day and age, you can put out stuff that looks like that with, the tools that are available, etc. And I'm just like, look, this is my genuine self out here. All right. First of all, it's getting over the hump of putting it out there, especially, at my age, so to speak, in my place in my life. Because if you think about it, a lot of the folks in my position are figuring out how to wind down. They've been working in 9 to 5 or done something else where,
Is that true, or is that just something you've been telling yourself? You know what I mean? Because I just wonder if that's actually true. Like, do you have data? Because I actually think the majority of people your age are kind of freaking out, are kind of going, oh crap, like I don't have. I mean, I even know people who thought they were prepared for retirement and now realize that they weren't. They're looking at the amount of money that they have, and they're saying to themselves, I actually have to live less because I don't have enough money. So I'm just saying that I think my personal experience is that people are freaking out in your age. They're not winding down, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Well, let me kind of clarify that winding down,
please.
It's when I say winding down is, yes, they're looking for retirement, because they've been in the working world for however long, in whatever capacity. So the winding down piece is like, how do I get out of the working world?
Yeah.
So
and they're probably maybe not pushing themselves as hard as maybe you are or getting as uncomfortable as you are in order to do something that really is actually not harder, but there's just a little bit of uncomfortability here at the beginning, right?
Right. So that's kind of how I turn that's kind of my focus is, I want to go into this, this portion of my life not having to worry. And that's kind of the message I keep trying to push out, whether it be through the social media or my contact with others, because there's kind of two groups that I'm trying to appeal to. Well, first, it's my group. Hey, you're trying to wind down, and just like you said, we're freaking out because we're realizing. I mean, my 401k that I had from my old company just took a 23+% hit. In the last month, right?
Exactly.
And I'm like,
now your retirement is 23% less.
Right.
And here's this time that you're supposed to. And this is what I think where what you were saying and where I think this is marketing too. So it's like society says that we're supposed to be retiring at 65 or whatever. And everybody walks around and acts like, oh yeah, retirement's coming up. Like this is, and everybody believes that, well, this is supposed to be when I do get to wind down and relax. This is when I should start. And so mentally we're going, oh, okay, retirement's coming up. But in our gut, we're freaking out because, I'm saying I have relatives that are all in this. I have a lot of people who are a bit older than you are, but are in that place where some of them did okay. Some of them did okay for themselves. One of my uncles and aunts owned an insurance agency, but I'll tell you what, even as with an insurance agency, okay, they're not freaking out, but they're not bawling. They're not out here wiping their butt with $100 bills over here. They're selling their RV. They're balancing, budgeting, all this kind of stuff. So Yeah, and people are in the people. We have to know our audience too. We have to know our audience, and the majority of people, for all of you who are sitting around on here and who are thinking, well, there's nobody else out there who's going to be interested in this message, or there's nobody else out there who's, the majority of people that we meet that come to our masterminds are a lot of them are people that are in their 50s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, not people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, or 20s and 30s predominantly. There are some younger people, but there's a lot of people who are older, because they realize that they don't have what they need, and so it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Also, when you think you have what you need, and then all of a sudden stock markets go down, I mean, look at this economy. Do you
Yeah.
think anybody really, with what they have, their nest egg, do you think anybody's really feeling safe right now with wars and dictators and pandemics? And I mean, we're living in a crazy world, and as a
Yeah.
military man and survivalist, not in the form of prepper, but just in the form of, you are a man who was trained to survive. It's a scary place, not
Yeah.
particularly because of the world, but because of what man has created in this economy and supply chains, and the fact that so many things rely on other idiots.
Yeah.
Really, we have to be in control as much as we can of our destiny and our future. And so, if you are an older person who's freaking out, then stop wasting time and get started. And if you're a young person who thinks that your day will never come and you got plenty of time, that
Mm.
just, it's so far off in the distance that you just won't have to worry about it anymore. Let me tell you something. That time, that day, that moment where it is where it is a reality, where you are worrying about it, is right around the corner. Right around the corner. It's a lot, right, Bill?
Yeah, I would say it's actually right now, and here's why. You know, time is going to go by faster than you really think, and before you know it, when you thought you would, like, I was talking about the whole analysis paralysis over the last year and a half. Don't wait, start now. And that's kind of how I try to message uh my stuff, is such that I'm trying to, like I said, appeal to the my group as well. Don't wait to start, and it's never too late to start. And then the younger groups out there, like my sons who are just finished up their second year of college. I've been talking to them about what I do, but don't want to blast them with it. But they've asked questions, and they know that going into the 9 to 5 world is going to have to support them doing additional things.
Yeah.
So they see the world as well. So that there's that group that you either want to escape the toxic 9 to 5, or add something to increase your assets.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I try to set that messaging that to help you guys out. So it's been a great opportunity for me, and it is for everybody. You have to get over that fear and jump in and go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is a picture of our recent mastermind. We just got the photos back the other day. So, you can see here, in the picture, just the diversity of people in this community here at Legendary, the age ranges, right? These are the people. These are the folks that we're working next to, that we're marketing and communicating to out there on the internet. It's real people with real life challenges, real fears, real the real things that they've overcome to get here. I mean, people who have stories just like each one of us, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and they, it's amazing, when you come and you actually look. It's not just, I mean, the it's people from all walks of life who all had a similar thought, which is, I want more freedom. I want more. Basically, it's all about freedom. I mean, as a military man, I think that probably would resonate with you, right?
Yeah, very much so.
But as an entrepreneur, that resonates with me as well. And
Yeah.
when I speak to each person, regardless of their age, they want more freedom. They
Yeah.
want more freedom. Freedom meaning that I don't want somebody to tell me what to do. I don't want somebody leaning over my back. I don't want to have to answer to somebody for every little thing. I want to have some creative freedom, and I want to be able to make more money so I can spend more. It's all boils down to freedom. I want to transition a little bit over to your consulting
Sure.
client. What techniques did you learn that you use to help you close your consulting client that maybe you could share with people to give them a little bit of a different perspective on how they can use these skills and tools?
Okay. Well, it kind of goes back to, one of the things that you say in your introductory video, on the sales page or the landing page, right? It's, we're always trying to sell something. We're always selling something. And that really kind of clicked with me, as I was looking through that, that initial video that kind of stuck with me as I was starting my consultancy at the same time. And so it kind of really helped. That kind of clicked me into really focusing on, what's the message and the value proposition that I'm bringing to, the my consultancy side of things. And because how many business consultants are there in the world? There's millions, right?
Yeah.
So what's going to make me different? So that really drove kind of the messaging portion of how I sell myself and gaining clients.
Mm.
So from the affiliate marketing side, I researched the market and took a look at who else was in the space, what I was doing, and then it also helped me kind of work with a lot of folks that were currently in that space of kind of jumping in and using that to help set things up. So a lot of the skills that I learned through even the 15-day challenge kind of helped set the kind of foundation for a consultancy.
Yeah.
And eventually, as part of the tools and the techniques that we have in legendary marketing for selling a digital product or setting that up and selling it, these are things that I was like, wow, these are potential opportunities that I can kind of incorporate into that consultancy going forward. So there's a lot of great tools and techniques, and I love the fact that it's constantly updated. When I look in our back office, like I went back into it, just I think last week to look at something, because and I was like, oh, wait a minute, it's changed. And that's it. That's also let me throw out some great advertising, for the program. And this is what I tell everybody. And the reason why I chose Legendary Market is the fact that you guys still do it. It's not just, hey, we're selling a product, get in, we'll sell you a couple of videos and a couple, spreadsheets, etc. It's the fact that, you folks still do it. And when it doesn't work, you figure out how to make it work. And then we get the benefit of that.
Right.
And I'm using that, as I go forward in both the consultancy stuff and the marketing as well.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest reason why I went, with Legendary Marketing versus all the other guys out there that are, punching out videos and digital products. It's, we're real people,
Yeah.
I don't drive a Lambo,
Neither do I.
I'm like, I personally don't want it, that's not my freedom, So, I mean, it's like, hey, our roads ain't built for Lambos. So why buy a $200,000 automobile that you can't drive faster than 75 miles an hour without a ticket, right?
Our roads weren't built.
Looks great in your garage, So,
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to drive a car fast, go to Germany and drive the Autobahn.
I know my wife took me to Vegas and we did the track out there.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Where you can drive the Lambos and all that kind of stuff. It was a blast. It was a blast. We left all the cars there on the thing and went home, and yeah.
There you go. Yep. I'll rent the opportunity.
Renting is great. We also love to rent vacation homes. Instead of going and buying vacation homes. It's a novel concept. Why in the hell do I want houses all over the world when, quite frankly, I don't know what in the heck's going to happen in that part of the world? It could be flooded. It could burn. It could be, seriously.
Yeah.
I want my investments to be compact. I want them to be, and I would rather be more at this stage. My investing strategy is a little bit different. We should have an entire call on investing strategies because it's once you start making money, the question is, again, going back to the cash flow quadrant with Robert Kiyosaki and his whole thing, how do you really become a true investor and make your money work for you? But again, that's we could go down that rabbit hole. I wanted to say, ClickFunnels just sent us this belt because of our #1 affiliate status there at ClickFunnels.
Nice. Congratulations.
Not as a company, just we have affiliates also who are sending, who are affiliates of ClickFunnels and affiliates of System.io and all these different things. But we are also doing it. We are also sending our own traffic, doing our. I've been doing this for 12 years in one way, shape, or form. Affiliate marketing and combining the core four is the only business model that I'll ever run for the rest of my life. I'll never do another business because there's nothing that's easier than this. There's nothing that's simpler than this. There's nothing that's more low overhead than this. And there's nothing that I can make a sale today. I can make a sale today and I can deliver the training later. There is nothing else except, I can pre-launch and say, hey, we've got these awesome water bottles coming out in a month. And a lot of people do crowdfunding, right? Crowdfunding. So yay, I raised $100,000 from 100 people. And now I got to take that $100,000 and I have to go make a bunch of crap. And then I have to ship it out to those people and hope they don't get pissed off that it takes so long. Whereas I can go out to my email list or I can go out to Facebook and I can run a few $100s worth of ads or whatever. And I can host a webinar or I can go live on Facebook and I can say, I'm doing a training next week where I'm going to show you XYZ. It's $37 to get in. Buy now. And I'll teach you. And I could make 100 sales or make 2 sales or 5 sales or 10 sales. Anybody, what I was thinking about last night, Bill? I was thinking about the fact that every single one of us, in a country that has an economy and has stores where you can buy. I'm not talking about people in third world countries, and I am sensitive to people who do not have some of the blessings or a lot of the blessings that we have in America. I am sensitive to that. With saying that, I am going to now say that everyone, and everyone means minus the people I just said, everyone has the same opportunity to go out and make money on the internet. Everyone has the same opportunity. And no one can tell me that any type of person makes more money than any type of person. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, Muslim, Christian, old, young. It literally, because you can find your target customer. You can find people who will buy from you. You can find them. And you know why else it's the playing field is leveled is because all it takes is a cell phone and a laptop.
Yep.
And you don't even have to have both really, but it's nice to have both. Is all it takes is those 2 little pieces of equipment that if you don't have, Get it. Get a cell phone and a computer. You need it to be a part of this world these days.
Mm-hmm.
A laptop and a cell phone. Now think back, Bill. Think back a couple of years ago or a couple of decades ago or whatever, and tell me honestly, did everybody have the same opportunity? Was the playing field leveled? Or has the internet changed the game, and are things, in your opinion, is there opportunity? Is what I'm saying. Do you agree with that statement as well? Is
Yeah.
this, has the internet and these simple business models that we figured out how to do, have they changed the game? And can you honestly look in that camera and say that anybody with willingness and resourcefulness can succeed and completely build a life that is totally different than theirs right now in a better way? Do you agree with that?
Oh, I totally agree with it. If you have a smartphone, you can run your entire business on that smartphone. And case in point, I just got back last night from a week in Maine on vacation, where I'll tell you what, anybody that knows Maine knows that there's the cell phone connection there is rough. Like at my mom's house where we stayed, if I was standing on a tippy toe with my arm, up in the air on top of a roof, that's how you get connection at her house. And I was still able to connect, with my systems and everything I needed to do to check. Heck, I even posted a TikTok video right from her deck.
Yeah.
So it's possible. And I've been in some of those, those places that you can't mention in the world. And believe it or not, there's still connectivity even in those parts of the world, where you can reach out and touch the world from an internet connection, and that's all you need.
Yeah.
So running it from a phone, an iPad or a tablet or a laptop or both, whatever the technology is that connects to the internet, it's way easier now. And I remember when the internet was just taking off.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, back when if we can go back just for a second, do you remember when you joined the military and back when you were a young man, not that you still wouldn't have gone to serve the same way, but just talk to us a little bit about the options, right? How and I think it was an honorable choice. And again, I'm not insinuating you wouldn't choose it again. I'm just asking, were the options a lot less than they are now?
Oh yeah, very much so. Because when you think about the expectations, you know, the expectations of us back then, we even talk about it in some of our, our swipe emails. We were screwed because the whole belief system is you go to college, you get a job, and then you go out from there. The military was a job to some. It's really a profession, in my opinion. It's not a 9 to 5 job. It's 24/7, and you put yourself on the line every day.
Right.
But
and your family too. Your family's in that job too.
they're a part of that as well.
As well. That career. They are. Everybody's in it when you're a military family. I can imagine.
Mm-hmm. So yes, the options I think were a lot more limited back then. In the sense that the internet was in its infancy. Back then. And, nobody really knew what it was. Like, hey, if you had a 56K baud modem, you were like king of the hill, and, but nobody had email. Everything was still, phone calls and using snail mail and the whole 9 yards. So in today's world, holy mackerel, we've gone from, a snail to light speed, over the past several years, and you can't beat it.
I know. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
So, I would definitely say the options are much better now than they were back then. Because even when I was back then looking at it, just outside of, I go to work, then I'm going to find a corporate job, and then I'm going to retire.
Right. Like
that's what we've been taught our entire life.
Yeah, like it's just that simple, and you're just going to, you're just going to go. Yeah. Like it's just all going to fall in place. So here you are, and this is going to be one of, if not my last question. Here you are, you're a retired career military man. You have little experience outside of that, right? Um, you have a family,
Mm-hmm.
and you're a knowledgeable, intelligent guy, well experienced, and now you come in and you get on the internet and you run in and across, our content and my video, and are presented with a you know a you're presented with an opportunity to buy some training and learn from a guy. I'm not a veteran. I'm younger than you. I'm ex-homeless. I'm a recovering
Mm-hmm.
addict, all these kind of things. What that screams to me, just, I don't know, humility. I mean, what is your mindset when you're now at this chapter of your life, and you're going back, you're buying training, you bought our blueprints, you're going through this training as if you are a young man going through school. I mean, how does a what is your mindset? Can you talk to us a little bit about your mindset around investing in training, then going through that training, learning from people who may not be somebody who you ever imagined you would be working with or learning from? I don't know. Can you just talk to us a little bit about just the mindset you're in now of buying training, of investing, and of following lead and learning a lot of things all over again, or for the first time at this phase in your life?
Yeah. So, I kind of look at it this way. When I lost my job, it was like, Jesus, I'm starting all over again.
Mm,
What do I do now? So there's that introspection of, going forward. Do I just pack it in now with what I got and figure it out? Or, go back to what I know, the easy part? I mean, because I use that's kind of the foundation that I use in my introductory video, on the landing page. It's like I could start all over again. I could go back to the 9 to 5, or I could make the decision to finally just do something for myself. It was kind of like it's like a turning point. Talk about pivoting.
yeah.
This is a huge pivot. It's like I could go back because, like, if you think about it, I did all of this on unemployment. I use some of my unemployment money every week, to buy the training. I'm still paying the bills and making a house payment, and I'm like, okay, so I can either invest in myself finally and do it myself
Finally.
finally, right?
Invest.
I was investing in everybody else. If you think about it, whether it was the United States government, our country, or in the corporate world in my last position.
Or my
It,
family, and my neighbor's family,
yeah,
keeping us safe, right? I mean,
yeah,
that was
well,
that is your job essentially,
yeah,
right? So I mean,
well,
in one way, you're keeping your family safe too, but
mm-hmm. And I still do that. Now it's more from a financial standpoint than it is from putting myself on the line to not let harm come to our country, right? So at this age, the body just doesn't recover quick enough. So I'm like, okay,
I
it's
know I
time.
just pulled a muscle in my stomach coughing the other day. I know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, and the body just does not heal quick enough to get back in the game, so to speak. So it's like, okay, it's definitely time to do something different. And so it's like, okay, now it's time to do something for myself.
Mm,
And like I said, I was researching the snot out of it, and you get to that analysis paralysis, and it just finally kicked me. It's like, okay, $7 is not a big amount of money to get into it,
yeah.
you know and I've studied some of the others that are in the same space that you are, and I'm like, oh my god, how do we get past the whole scam and the get rich quick and the whole thing? And when you said straight up, this is not a get rich quick scheme, it's work, and I'm
Yeah.
okay with work. It doesn't
Right.
bother me.
Right.
Get rich quick stuff means you're out of a lot of money and you'll just drop it by the wayside because it's not going to get you where you want to go, right? Because you're not building
Yeah.
anything long term.
And we have to really be clear about what scam is. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
scam means somebody made you a promise for a product or service or something in return for your money, and they did not deliver it. And in most cases, they took your money and they disappeared with it.
Yeah.
Legendary Marketer is an education company, an online school for online marketers. And if you buy the training and you don't use it or go through it, you didn't get scammed. You simply bought something that you didn't use. Sort of like when you go to Walmart or wherever, Gucci or wherever the hell you go, and you buy a shirt and you bring it home and you don't wear it. And then 6 to 12 months later or whatever, you give it away to Goodwill because you never wore it. You didn't get scammed. You bought something that you didn't use. And we do that every day.
Yeah.
And that personal responsibility is something that's real difficult for a lot of us to take, to own. But I'll tell you, for me, the quickest and fastest thing that I always like to do in any situation is try to own shit, try to take responsibility for things, especially if I was in any way responsible for them going not as planned, because now I've taken away everybody's criticism. I've taken away everybody's power. Nobody can tell me, because I'm owning it first. And it's the way of the warrior. It's the way of the entrepreneur. We solve problems. We are a lot like servicemen and women who run to problems instead of run away from them, So, hey, brother, it's been great to chat, and thanks for your service, and thanks for your wonderful story. And by the way, Bill came on this morning, and just to recap, he got an email from Roxy, who is on our team and invites guests to come on the show, and actually, because they've had success and because we want to hear from them and learn from them, right? And Bill got that email and humbly just thought that Roxy was checking in on him to make sure he was going to be at the show watching. So he pulls up, before the show, and right, brother, you thought you were just going to be watching. That is,
yep.
And you were okay with that. That's the best part, right? You showed up.
Yep. And that's the thing about this. Just show up. Just show up. I mean, that's the topic of one of my TikTok videos is, it has nothing really to do about affiliate marketing. It's just show up. Yeah. That's the biggest thing right there, and nobody can take that away from you. Yeah. That's the opportunity.
Showing up is the majority of the battle. I mean, without a doubt, I'm coming up with all these military analogies today. I can't imagine why, but yeah, man, you're never going to win the battle if you don't even show up, right? I mean, let's take a look at the Ukraine situation. I mean, man, those guys are going at it. I mean, they're staying there, and we got Americans that are going over there too, and all kinds of people from around the world are going over there to help, and man, they're showing up. But imagine, before that, remember when the Taliban invaded Afghanistan recently in 2021? They took over, and what did their president do? What did the president of Afghanistan do? Left the country.
He opened the doors, right?
He opened the doors. He left the country. He left the country, right? And the minute that you leave, you give up, you walk away. It's half the battle is about just showing up, just opening the computer, just sometimes staying put. And you know what? That's what I respect so much about Zelensky. The president of Ukraine, is that I'm sure they prepared, but had really no idea what was going to happen, who was going to support them, but he decided to stay. And what happened was that inspired an entire country to stay as well. And he showed up. He didn't know what was going to happen. He didn't know the world was going to get behind him and all this stuff, but he did. And I find the same is true. It's this, and again, we're comparing apples to oranges. So this is in no way, shape, or form. It's just an analogy for the analogy purpose. But entrepreneurship is a lot. It's the same way in some respects, because it's sort of like we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who's going to rally around us. We until we make the decision to stay or to show up.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we get to find out how great the gifts are. It's entrepreneurship is not one of those deals to where you get to find out how great the gifts are before you start. It's not that kind of deal. You don't just get to say, "Oh, that's awesome. Oh yeah, I'll get started now because I know exactly what's going to happen." You have to get started. You have to suit up and show up and probably overcome a few challenges, and then the benefits start to open up and the people start to rally around you. Those are usually your audience, your customers, people that want to support you. And, things start to happen from there. And once again, to remind everybody, we as entrepreneurs working on the internet get to do this safely from the comfort of our homes. We just sweat and tears, usually no blood, usually no violence. We can do this safely. Also, nobody can deem you non-essential ever again. Nobody can send you home and say you're not essential or you're not important enough. And also, if there's anything else that you want to protect yourself from, whether that be, viruses or whatever, stay home, work your business, stay home and work your business, spend time with your family. You know what I mean? And it's a pretty good gig. It's all the things that we've always wanted, but you're right. We got to suit up and show up to get the benefits. They don't come first and then we go and suit up because we got some sort of upfront signing bonus. This ain't the NBA, folks. I mean,
let me throw one thing at you real quick.
You got it, brother.
Okay. So like I said, I got off the plane after spending a week in Maine on vacation. And I can tell you for the first time in my adult life that this 1 week on vacation was an actual vacation where I was able to enjoy time, relaxing and doing whatever I wanted without worrying about, a phone call, an email coming through that I had to look at and then had to act on. I actually was able to relax because I own my own business for the first time in my adult life. And I was like, it was pretty amazing. Even my mom, because we went up there to celebrate her 80th. And she even said something along the lines of, how brighter and clearer, I look because I wasn't weighed down with something back at the office or what, because that's also part of that freedom.
Yeah. Well, mama knows her boy is at home safe. He's out of also traffic and all the other, and he's at home with his family. There's no better place for a man to be. There's no better place for a man to be than at home. And that's the lie that I believed for a long time was flying all over, jet setting, traveling, speaking on stages, all this bullshit. Man, I want the money, not the fame. And you know what? I don't even want the money. Keep the money. I just want the freedom. I don't want the Lambos. I don't want the bullshit. I just want the freedom. I want to be able to stay home, be with my family. And I want that clear, crisp, rested look on my face too, man. So keep up the good work, brother.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for your service once again. And thanks for showing up, man, today.
I appreciate you having me on.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Take care, everybody.
All right. That's Bill, my friends. You can go follow him over at Free From 9 to 5 on TikTok. He's got some affiliate marketing stuff going. He's also got some business consulting stuff going. Pretty cool episode, pretty cool story. A lot of nuggets in there, a lot we can walk away and learn from on a random Thursday. I mean, if this is not just the coolest, most valuable information in this industry, I don't know what is. I mean, just learning from our students and our clients that are taking the information and not doing anything crazy with it. They're not extracting, translating into multiple languages. They're just, they're just reading, they're just watching, and they're just doing what we say in the training. And so if you haven't taken the challenge, go ahead and get on in. onlinebusinessbuilderchallenge.com. Get started with the challenge. I'm sure you already are. And if you're considering enrolling in any of our other programs, specifically our blueprints flagship program, we don't have tons of, lots of different courses and multiple different, the $50,000 mastermind. We don't have all that. We put all of our energy into the blueprints to make it the best, most robust, and often updated as needed training curriculum that you need to be able to win and succeed in this business. The biggest challenge that we have, honestly, is just getting people to watch it, to just go through it. That's it. So if you can do that, you really, really have a good shot at this. So, all right, my friends, get on out of here. Be well, be legendary. We'll see you back here for another episode tomorrow. And thanks again to Bill. What an incredible episode. All right.